Right back with another ISO Swish episode. And on today's show, we're going to talk about episodes 5 and 6 from The Last Dance. We got my man D Queens in the building. And of course, Big Mark. How you guys doing?
Good.
What's up, Chris? What's happening, Mark?
What's up, Smoke? What's up, Chris?
Hey, Dave, what are you doing, man? You cooking?
Man, I'm cooking, man. Let me tell you, Cinco de Mayo, I'm making my sons famous. And I say my sons because I stole his recipe. I'm making my sons famous buffalo chicken quesadillas.
Ooh, buffalo chicken quesadillas. All right, I'm down with that.
Sounds great, man.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm down with that. All right, so
margarita. Yeah.
Right.
You can't
Gotcha.
go wrong with that.
All right, so look, let's get into this Last Dance. I thought episode 5 was my favorite episode so far of the whole documentary. Let's talk about, first of all, the All-Star game from 1992, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Dave, tell me what you thought about that.
Oh man. I mean, you know, just to see them to add that in there about Kobe, it just touched my heart, man. I mean, I sat there and I watched it. I was like, man, I still can't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Believe that it's gone. You know what I'm saying? To add that in, man, it just gave it a lot of flavor. You know what I'm saying? It didn't make it. I mean, it was still all about Jordan and the Bulls, but to add that part in with Kobe.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
That was tough to see Kobe, of course, you know, fresh off of him passing. But in essence to the passing thing, it was kind of like a passing the torch thing where Jordan was, giving Kobe the reins, kind of, sort of. But
right.
It was good to hear that Kobe acknowledged the fact that, you know, he wouldn't have gotten those 5 rings without the guidance from Jordan, man. And that made it a little more special for me, hearing that from Kobe.
Yeah, he was kind of like, there is no one-on-one comparison. I got everything from Mike. You know, I thought that was pretty cool for him to be so humble, about that topic, which I'm sure was an ongoing topic, ever since he got into the NBA. So I thought that was pretty cool. One more thing on that.
Kobe did, and later on he did mention that had they been in the prime at their same time, Kobe would have bust that ass. He would have got in them.
It would have been a good one for sure.
It would have been good to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, good for sure. All right, let's talk about how bad everybody hated Jerry Krause, to the point where, let's talk about that 92 Olympics going against Toni Kukoc and the Croatian team. They hated Jerry Krause. They didn't care about Kukoc. It didn't matter the difference if it was Kukoc or anybody else. They hated Jerry Krause so bad that they wanted to lock this dude up. Mark, tell me what you saw when them two dogs went against Kukoc.
Well, we saw it, of course, during the course of the Olympics, and we knew that. I remember hearing about Kukoc and how, you know, they were so busy trying to grab him, and Pippen and Jordan weren't having it, man. And then just to see that, how they put it on, it didn't really matter if it was Toni Kukoc, Pippen, anybody, but they made that point and made that statement to Krause that this dude, we got this, but we don't need this dude, really.
Right. What you think, Dave?
I don't even know if it was so much more that they just felt that they didn't need him. I think they just wanted to show Jerry Krause up. They wanted to let him know, this is the guy you want to bring in, we're going to show you.
Right.
We don't need to bring nobody in here. But you know, I mean, they just hated him so bad, you know, and it was like borderline disrespectful with Jerry Krause. I mean, they talked and joned on him so bad. It's like that respect for a GM, I just don't think he ever had it with him.
Right. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. It was that whole Olympic scene was crazy. I do think that Olympics, I know going out on a limb here, but I think that Olympic team was the greatest and most fascinating team in sports history. Right. That was like 30 years ago now, and we're still talking about how great that was. We still want the video from the practices. Right. We still want Magic's story and Larry Bird's story and all that stuff. I just think it was just an unbelievable time. And to have 10 first-time Hall of Famers on the court at the same time was, to me, I think it's the greatest basketball that's ever played. The practices.
Clearly, and Barkley mentioned that we got to see one of those practices in the highlight reels, but he said that was every day they practiced like that. They went at each other, went hard at each other every practice.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. One of my funniest moments of episode 5 was Jerry Seinfeld coming in the locker room and saying, pointing to the chalkboard and saying, that play's not going to work. That play's just not going to work. I thought that was hilarious, man. I thought it was cool to break up the show a little bit like that as well.
You got to remember, Seinfeld was in his prime back then, right in the midst of his show, which was probably the #1 show in America right there. But that was pretty funny myself, man. What do you think about that, Smoke?
Yeah, I mean, well, Seinfeld was one of my favorite shows. And I agree with you, like you said. I mean, to add that in, to break it up, that was good. I mean, like you said, because he was on the top of his game. He was at the top. You bringing him in to the Bulls who were on top. I mean, it was just a good mix.
Right. Now, I wouldn't. The episode I thought was awesome because the music was unbelievable. You know, Tribe Called Quest, Outkast, Nas. You had even cats like Justin Timberlake on there. Talking about the shoes, but it was really about the shoes and showing how Michael Jordan got to Nike. He wanted to be with Adidas. Mark, how crazy would it have been if Jordan had signed with Adidas?
Oh my goodness, man! And first of all, I would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Jordan. Rest in peace to Mr. Jordan for asking Mike, hey, man, just come on over to check Nike, hear what they have to say, man. It would have been a whole different thing with the Adidas and even a Spot Bill. We heard Spot Bill was probably one of the people who were trying to get him too. But it's just been a whole different dynamic had Adidas grabbed him, man.
Right. No doubt. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I think Adidas would have been the #1 shoe.
Yeah.
Right now, wouldn't it be? It'd be Adidas. It'd be the #1 shoe.
No doubt.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump to that Portland Chicago championship '92. It was quite disrespectful to Jordan that he was getting compared to Clyde Drexler. So all he needs is a little bit of disrespect coming his way, and he's going to take that to the next level. And he flat out destroyed Clyde Drexler, right? I mean, it was just disrespectful. I just don't even know what else to say about it. It was just flat out disrespectful. Right. And all he was doing was this the whole time.
Yeah, sure.
Just crazy.
And Clyde really didn't want to say too much because Clyde didn't want to say too much. Like, I'm not going to get in a back and forth in a war words with him. He knew. Right. But that was enough. Just saying that was enough. Mike had arrogance about him, just like all of the superstars do. At that level, you're gonna have arrogance about you. You're just gonna have it. All the great ones got it. And he knew like you said, he respected Clyde. He knew Clyde was a great player, but he wasn't on his level. And for you to compare him to me, let me go out here and show you for real.
Yeah,
there's no
Mark. 35 points in one half, still a finals record.
Crazy.
Unbelievable. And it's not far-fetched that you would hear something Jordan go off like that because he was such a competitor, man. It wasn't Clyde Drexler's fault. It's just that the media hyped it up and tried to compare him to Clyde Drexler. And Jordan was quick to squash that rumor, just quick to squash that in a hurry.
Right. Hey, what y'all think about the suits, man? The big bottom suits back in the day.
Terrible.
No. It was still...
No, let me just say, MJ is the baddest dude to ever step on the court, but he's one of the biggest famous I've ever.
No, bro, he was from day.
What he wear on the golf course, and to wear his casual wear, man, his jeans, man, he got his jeans all up on his back. Man, he's terrible, man.
But Dave, for the mid-90s, man, that was clean, man. That was a clean look.
Man,
not now.
Not in DC. It's
right. Not in DC. Nah,
the only guy I can see who outdressed Jordan in the basketball world was probably Clyde Frazier. That dude put it down on a dress on the off the court.
No doubt.
He could dress. Jordan, man, was clean. Jordan was clean.
No doubt.
It's few guys that can put it together, man. I've seen. That put it together. Clyde he was like real flamboyant. You know what I'm saying? He was too flamboyant for me. Like, I mean, it's not anything that I would do. I mean, I look at even when I go back and I look at, like, you know, LeBron dresses pretty well most of the time. He got out of the pocket a couple times in the suit, but if you look at some of the, you know, his suits and everything, I mean, he put his stuff together pretty well. I like the way he does it. So.
Yeah. So look, let's move on to episode 6, which is a lot more depressing than episode 5, because it really started to show how the media and how the fans would just circle around this dude. It kind of reminded me of Michael Jackson, to be honest with you. I mean, he couldn't leave his house. He couldn't leave the hotel room. And he was laying on the couch in that one scene smoking his cigar. And for all you cigar aficionados out there, he was smoking coke. Seemed like every single time. I was looking at the rapper every time he was smoking. But it was kind of depressing. He was like, this is my whole life, you know. So how does somebody at that level, at that height, be regular? You know, that's the question.
Yeah. And it's him.
I can tell you, and Chris, you know, I was never the biggest Michael Jordan fan. Always respected what he did on the court. Mm-hmm. But in terms of off of the court, he was never one of my favorites. But watching it, I kind of get it, because the man couldn't have a normal life. I mean, he can't go to a restaurant and eat without somebody coming up. Can I have your autograph? Can I have a picture?
Right.
You know, so it probably got to the point, man, where he just, you know, he developed that aura about himself, you know, that arrogance that, you know, he just kind of like pushed away from a lot of people. And so I kind of get it now. And at first, I never really, I didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way, but I get it.
Yeah, no, I get it, Mark. What you think, Mark?
Yeah, you know, the things were different back then. He didn't have that entourage like a lot of guys have now, and he just relied on the team security and NBA security for his escorts. That's the reason. One of the reasons he stayed in the hotel a lot, because he just couldn't go out and just couldn't enjoy himself. But he made the best of it, you know, in the gambling sense and then in the room thing. But he just couldn't go out. That was kind of sad to see that. I knew that back then. We read about that. But it was just tough to see that as it unfolded.
Yeah, I think the best part of episode 6 was the Knicks Bulls series. You know, going against Pat Ewing and John Starks and Charles Smith and Oakley. I thought it was. I watched that. I watched every single one of those live, and it was to me, it still ranks as one of the greatest series I've ever seen. The physicality, the just being in New York, you know, the Madison Square Garden, Spike Lee, and the Knicks had home court advantage, which was crazy, you know. So let's talk specifically about that last play, Game 6, up against New York, Charles Smith, and the defense. Tell me about that defense, Dave.
I mean, I think it changed Charles Smith's game for the rest of his life. His confidence was gone after that. It was gone. He was a different player before that play. If you can remember, I mean, he never was the top tier basketball player, but he was at that time. He probably was definitely high C, almost
right.
B player. I mean, he was a good player. I think that play took all his confidence away. It took all his confidence away.
Right. And like David Aldridge said, it's one of the greatest defensive plays I've ever seen, you know, especially team defense. What you think, Mark?
Yeah, I think so too. You know, Charles Smith was an elite defender, but going against the Bulls and that offensive set that they had, you know, he got exposed for a little bit, you know, and that I think that really damaged his career. Like Dave said, he was never the same after that. Especially in the media's eyes after play. But that was just a great defensive series, man.
Yeah. So do you guys think Jordan was is a compulsive gambler or a compulsive competitor? Which one is it?
I'm gonna say he's both. He's admitted, but he's a competitor, man. He's a hardcore competitor. Anything that can put a W in his column, he's going to do it. And the gambling at the time was relaxing for him, you know. And that's just one of the ways he went through it. Yeah.
Yeah. You think so, Dave?
I mean, I think the gambling part. I think the gambling part of it was. I mean, you know, that's something that he really, really couldn't control. So, I mean, I think the competitive nature drove him to the gambling, because I really think that he probably thought that he could beat gambling. Like, he could go into a casino and really
Right.
beat them like that.
And win.
Overall competitive nature. But, so, but he was giving up a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he was a grown man. And I think the way the media jumped on him about that, like he was a kid gambling. This man is a grown man, a millionaire. You worrying about what he's doing, when he's spending his money, or if he's gambling his money, that's his money. You do what he wants.
Right. Now I get it. All right, let's get into that the last finals, 93 finals, which seemed more like, let's win this and get this off our shoulders final versus something that they were ecstatic about or happy about. It was more of a relief. But going up against Charles Barkley and Dan Marley and the Phoenix Suns, and then also getting down, not getting down, but losing a couple of games in that series. Mark, tell me about your overall thoughts of that series.
Well, at that time, Phoenix was the number one team in the league, had the best record in the league, and I think and Barkley, of course, was the MVP of the league, and they were good friends back then. But it was a heated series built up to be through the media, man, and going into it, I kind of thought the Bulls were going to sweep them anyway. But Barkley kind of held that team together. I used to love Thunder Dan Marley, man. That dude always went hard to the basket pass, and it was an awesome series. Even though I thought they were going to sweep it, but it was a great series, man. Great series.
Yeah. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I think that because of where Barkley was at that particular time, like Mark said, he was the MVP. Thunder Dan. I mean, that Phoenix team, that was a bad team.
They were loaded.
And
KJ
it shows you really how right, but it really just shows you how good Chicago really was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, to be able to win that series the way they did, and Barkley played his ass off.
Oh yeah,
he did. He averaged 27 in 8, I think it was, that series. Yeah, he was killing it. But Mike averaged, I think, 40 that series. Yeah, which is crazy. And so you guys think Horace? Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just saying the makeup of their team, and how of course Mike was the nucleus, and how they were always able to put in a piece to complete that whole thing. I mean, yeah, man, they I still feel, even though Golden State, and this is kind of on top of just a second, but even though Golden State ended up winning 73 games, I still don't consider them the greatest team ever. You know what I mean? I still consider that Chicago team the greatest team ever, because they completed.
Right.
Golden State didn't complete. So
yeah, no, I would agree with that. If I had to go Golden State versus like that mid 90s, 95, 96, 97, I think the Rodman Bulls, that first or second year, that was the best team I've ever seen. Followed closely by the KD, Curry, Draymond, Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Last question, guys. Last question. Do you think Horace Grant was lying? Somebody lying, okay? because the dude wrote the book, and he got all these quotes from an anonymous source, and Mike said straight up, "That's Horace Grant," and Horace said, "Absolutely not. It's not me." So somebody lying. Who's lying?
That's tough, man. I kind of think Horace. I think Horace probably fibbed a little bit on that, embellished a little bit on the story. Because he ended up going to Orlando of all places and leaving the Bulls. But I kind of think Horace embellished it a little bit.
What'd you think, Dave?
Horace was lying.
Straight up.
That's funny.
I'm gonna tell you why. Horace lied, man. Listen, Mike is not gonna get on there and lie about that. Mike got to lie about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
That was Horace.
You're right. One something we forgot to mention was, and I thought it was very interesting because Mike basically owns the rights to this whole documentary, so he can say, okay, I want it to look this way, I want it to lean that way. But when President Barack Obama, the real president, came on and stated that maybe Mike should have been a little stronger on some of the things that he stated. You know, the Republicans wear, you know, chin shoe sneakers as well. All those kind of comments. I thought it was interesting that Mike allowed that kind of comment. You know, he let the president speak freely. And I thought it was interesting that Mike then came back with his own retort and stated that, hey, look, I'm a basketball player. This is what I do. I'm not a politician. I don't have that kind of knowledge to talk about those particular type of subjects. I respect that. I really do.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, you know, like you said, I mean, just because you are an elite athlete and, you know, you might be a sports icon, does not mean that you're well versed in every aspect of life. He probably didn't know anything about politics. You know what I'm saying? And all he wanted to do was play basketball and win. You know, right. I think a lot of times athletes get an unfair rap because we expect them to do so much. We expect them to speak out socially on you know, racial injustices and all that type of stuff when that might not be their thing. They might not know anything about it. So what you want them just to say something, as soon as they say the wrong thing, you know, the media is going to ridicule them and kill them. So, I mean, you know, he just chose not to speak. Again, so I had to go back. That was another part of why, you know, my opinion of him to a certain degree changed because I kind of expected him to do the same thing. And, you know, to hear him say that, I respected it. And I also respected the fact, like you said, he allowed that in from a Barack Obama. That just shows respect that he had for Barack Obama.
Right. What you think, Mo?
Yeah, I think the media would have gotten wind of that had he cut that part out from President Obama. But he was always known to not, you know, express his political side. And I kind of think he should have supported the senator in that race against, you know, anybody against Jesse Helms.
Jesse Helms, yeah.
You know, that dude is just
racist.
A straight up clown, straight up redneck racist. And I think had Jordan said something, spoken up and thrown his hat in the ring in defense of the senator, he would have the outcome would have been clearly different. I think.
No doubt. Well, look, I think that we have definitely reviewed and hashed this out. Like I said before, episode 5 was one of my favorites. The music, the shoes, the highlights, the Kobe Jordan was just incredible.
You forgot to mention something about the shoes. You know, with the Jordan 1s that he wore in the Garden. Of course, you know that was hurting his feet. Jordan, we know Jordan 1s are horrible for playing basketball. Man. It's just for stylish shoes. That same night, the shoe prices of the prices of that particular Chicago 1 Jordan jumped up by $400 a pair on that particular shoe. So mark my word, if you want to get some retro Jordans, the Concords are coming out on the next show. Grab them now because they will skyrocket in price.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Coming from the shoe guy, my man.
Coming from the shoe guy. I already had those shoes in my, except for the Chicago 1. I did sell the Chicago 1 back in 2015. I should have kept it. But I do have the Concords, of course, and it's a great shoe. But, yeah, mark my word, they will shoot up.
What you going to say, Dave?
Hey, but look, I thought it was interesting, too, how he said, you know, he was like, his feet were killing him. He said when he got in the locker room, his socks were drenched in blood. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you can play through all of that, you know what I'm saying? It's only a certain group of people, group of athletes
that can do that.
That type of thing. And I always look at, I look at, you know, what Kobe did when he tore his Achilles, God rest his soul. You know, I mean, those type of great athletes, they can put that pain aside on the back and do what they got to do. And Jordan had a great game that game.
Right. Yeah. No doubt. Well, look, guys, we got to roll. So make sure you check out The Last Dance, episodes 7 and 8. Very, very curious to see what that's going to be all about. My name is Chris. Of course, we got our man Smoke, better known as DQ, in the building. Mark, any last words? Any shout outs?
You know, I just want to say, make sure you guys stay tuned to the show, man. I mean, tune into the ISO Swiss show. And The Last Dance is it's mesmerizing, man. It's must-see TV. Must-see TV.
No doubt. Any shout-outs, Dave?
Hey, before we go, I don't have shout-outs this week, but I do want – I got a shout-out to my firstborn son, Lil Dave, for this quesadilla recipe that I have to show you guys. I mean, I don't make it like him. 'Cause
Right.
he's really good at it. But I did do it myself. So let me just show you.
Oh, we get a little restaurant action, Mark.
We get a little visual.
Right. All right.
Uh-oh.
Is it coming anytime soon?
Yeah. But,
Okay. Okay.
all right now.
Okay. All right.
Uh-oh.
So this is what the chicken buffalo quesadillas.
Chicken buffalo quesadillas.
Gotcha.
Oh, man.
Gotcha. Make sure you got a margarita with that, Dave.
That's right. Had that margarita.
Right.
Oh,
That's right.
I got
Look,
the-
guys,
I
we
got
got to
the
roll.
margaritas.
So everybody take care. Keep washing your hands. Keep staying healthy out there. And we will talk to you guys when we see ya.